remember about Ferdinand Marcos? What do you remember about martial law? Do you think martial law was good or bad in our Philippine history? Why do you say so? Why should we study this period in our history? What do you remember about Ferdinand Marcos?
Ferdinand Marcos was a president that is a dictator who led in a period of political repression and violence. He's the only president who served the country for 21 years. He's the greatest among the presidents in our country. He is known for martial law and is known of a lot of projects that promotes developments in the Philippines, like building of infrastructures nationwide.
What do you remember about martial law?
Well, martial law in the Philippines, or the Batas Militar sa Pilipinas, involves the temporary substitution of military authority for civilian rule, and the official date that martial law was established and the day that Marcos' dictatorship began was on September 21, 1972. And during martial law, the military people have an unlimited power, and that people in the Philippines are obliged to follow the rules that was implemented.
Do you think martial law was good or bad in our Philippine history? Why do you say so? Why should we study this period in our history?
Yes, martial law seems to have a bad impression to the people in the Philippines, and that the way they share it to the next generation seems like martial law is not a good thing that happened before. And despite the fact that many people is against the martial law, I think martial law is not that bad at all, because those military authority functions in response to an emergency where civil forces are overwhelmed, just like in times of war, rebellion, or natural disaster that hits our country. They played a great role in our country, and that the people in the Philippines was disciplined. However, any kinds of abuse was evident during that time, like the abuse of women and the abuse of power, which made the martial law not a good time in our country. And we should study this period in our history because it's all in the past, and it is a remarkable happening in our country, and should be passed from generation to the generation for them to know. And it is part of our Philippine history where one should study this.